All right, this is interview number 1, take 2 with Cade Carter. Cade, what state are you from?
Texas.
Cool. Okay. Are you currently registered to vote?
I am.
Have you voted before?
I have not.
Are you going to vote in the next presented election in your home state?
I believe so, yes.
Awesome. Do you know what the voting laws are, just generally in your home state?
I believe I do, yes.
Can you explain some of them to me?
I know that to vote in the state of Texas, you need to present a form of identification, something similar to a driver's license issued by the DMV or a proof of insurance from the state. I know that a gun license works, but you can use a lot of different things.
Okay, and is there another way of using identification when you go register to vote? If you don't have like a standard ID, can you use like a social security number or like an address or something like that?
I don't believe you can.
All right. How difficult do you think it is to vote where you're from? On a scale from 1 to 10. 10 being it's impossible, 1 being it's the easiest thing I've ever done.
I would say around a 4. I know it's pretty accessible in a lot of different areas. I know you can vote at schools, and you can vote at libraries and different establishments like that are usually government run. But I understand that may be a little less accessible for different audiences, possibly people who can't afford transportation or things like that. But I know that it is a goal for the state government to make it as accessible as possible.
All right, and last question. Do you think there is any form of voter suppression in your home state and in the United States? And if so, why or what?
I'm not too sure about my home state, but I do believe that it exists. It is pretty unfortunate, and I know that is a problem because I know that it is good to have everyone vote because everyone needs a voice in this country to vote for who they want to vote for.
And I'm going to ask you one more question that I just thought of. Do you think your vote matters in the whole span of things? Because a lot of people don't want to vote because they don't think their vote matters. What do you think about that?
Every vote matters.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Cade. Okay, this is interview number 2 with...
My name is Dimitri Castaneda, and I am from California.
Beautiful. Okay, Dimitri, are you currently registered to vote?
I am. I pre-registered when I was 17,
Yes.
and now I am fully registered to vote.
Awesome. Have you voted before?
I have not.
All right. Are you excited to vote?
I am, just because it's new, and I understand the importance of it, but at the same time, it's hard for me to keep that in mind with school and everything else that goes on in life. It's hard for me to remember to keep up with that and to look into all of the different topics and candidates.
That's very true. There's a lot going on. Okay, do you know of any voting laws in California that are required kind of for when you go vote? Like, do you have to have some sort of identification? Or?
I'm not familiar with any of the specific voting laws. I know that I can vote through the mail.
Okay.
They just send in a packet, fill it out, send it back. I didn't plan on going to any place to vote specifically, and I'm not aware of any specific laws or rules when it comes to voting.
Okay. Do you think voting through the mail is the easiest?
I think it is, just because you can fill it out at your convenience at home. The only, I guess, difficulty with it is mailing it.
Yeah.
But even then, I feel like that's less of a hassle than finding somewhere to get it done.
Very true. All right. Do you think it's difficult? I know you haven't ever voted in California, but do you think that it's specifically difficult in your state to vote? Is there any kind of like suppression around the idea of voting with people in your home state?
My dad doesn't vote. He's not a citizen, so he does not vote. Because of that, my mom doesn't really care.
That's fair.
Neither of them are really into it. And I think a lot of times, especially in California, in a place where it's really liberal, people want to protest and get their opinions heard but at the same time, you're having a lot of kids who aren't, or not kids, but teenagers and young adults who aren't showing up to the polls and aren't voting at all. So I think that it's just important for people to understand why they need to vote and not just follow after their parents, and that they should, I don't know, keep themselves up to date and understand the importance of voting and understand that it's not just protesting and being in the streets and being outside of City Hall. You actually have to take action in the form of legislation and that area of it.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Got you.
We're done. All right, this is interview number 3 with...
Nate Gherkin from California.
Awesome. Okay. So, are you currently registered to vote?
No.
All right. Why aren't you registered to vote?
I haven't really had the time or thought about it that much.
All right. Do you feel like it's very accessible to you to vote and you just haven't been able to, or that it's kind of hard to access?
I feel like it's pretty accessible. Like, people tell me to vote, or like register to vote and stuff all the time, like teachers and stuff like that. So.
Do you know any specifics about the voting laws or voter registration in California? So, like, what kind of identification you have to have, if you have to have any, where you can go to vote, how you can vote?
I have no idea.
You have no idea?
No idea.
All right, cool. Do you know how old you have to be to vote in California?
18.
Cool. Just checking. Do you think it's made difficult to vote for some people? So do you think, specifically in California, do you think there's like a lot of voter suppression, or do you think it's pretty fair across the board?
Maybe like southern parts where there's a lot of like immigrants from Mexico and stuff might be hard for them. That would probably be the biggest thing I could think
All right. And last question. Why haven't you voted? I realize this as I'm saying this, that I already asked you this, but I'm gonna put a spin on it because I can edit this out. Okay, so if you had all the time in the world, and you like had access to it, right, and you weren't busy with school, would you vote, or would you choose not to?
I probably would vote if I had like time and I wasn't busy and stuff. I'm not too interested in like politics and stuff like that, so I don't know. I haven't looked really into all that stuff that much, so I wouldn't be educated enough to vote. I feel like right now. But.
Okay. Do you think it's better to not vote if you don't know anything about like the politics and who's running and stuff like that, and just not vote at all, or do you think it's better to still vote even if you know little to no information?
I feel like it'd be better not to vote if you don't know.
Better not to vote?
Yeah.
Why?
Because people who are uneducated might vote for people who they don't know, have certain feelings or will act a certain way or something, and they might vote for them not knowing. So.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, thank you very much.